Hi, and welcome back to another episode of NCBA's Coffee Break. I'm your host, Nathan Willner, and today I'm really excited to be joined by Craig Noack. Craig is an NCBA board member, a Texas-based attorney whose practice focuses on creditors' rights and complex receiverships. And he recently attended NCBA's Executive Experience event, which we call the EE. Craig, great to have you with us today.
Thank you. Very happy to be here.
So let's start with the executive experience that you just attended, and I was there with you. What stands out about the event the most to you?
It was a great conference. I've been a big fan of it for the last couple of years. What really stands out for me, both in this conference and the past ones, is, I mean, this is really where people are open and practical about what they're facing, about the issues that are in front of them. And it's the firm leaders, right? So the firm leaders are there and they're being candid with each other, um, about the trends that they're facing, the challenges that they're facing, and what's most importantly, they're sharing what's working for them, right, and what's not working for them, their real experiences. So everybody was very engaged throughout the entire event, and I had a couple people who were just almost startled by how relevant and robust the conversations were, especially in the roundtables.
Yeah, and speaking of the roundtables, one of the statements that one of the attendees told me that had they only been there for 1 hour of the roundtable that you were facilitating, they felt that was enough to justify the entire trip and the cost of the registration. So to me, that's an incredibly powerful statement. So what went on at that roundtable was AI, and that was a major theme this year. So from those discussions, where do you see the biggest opportunities for AI in creditors' rights law firms?
I mean, obviously, it's very clear that it offers a substantial efficiency improvement, right? And we as firms deal usually in high volume scenarios, so efficiency is key. But it's efficiency across a wide array of subjects. So document review, inbound document processing, first drafts, data analysis. It's like having a data analyst in your pocket if you do it correctly. Workflow management, both operational and compliance. So if you're using it properly, I think it allows the firm to do a lot of those things that it knows needs to be done, while spending more. It lets the attorneys spend more time on strategy, on client counseling, on judgment enforcement, on litigation, the things that the attorneys are supposed to be doing.
So it's like having an entire, new staff, so to speak. But with that, I guess some challenges are there as well. What kind of challenges does it present?
Well, I definitely think there's a risk management challenge. I think there's a governance challenge. We have to protect our clients' data. We have, NPPI. We have to make sure that what we're doing is accurate. And so, we have to be very, very cognizant about AI hallucinations, about AI errors, and we have to set very, very, very clear rules. One of the topics that came out strongly was you can't just set up AI to do things. You have to set up AI, and then you have to set up the supervision of the AI with another set of AI bots. And then you have to have the supervision on top of that. So, we can't replace legal judgment. We have to supplement it. And that supplement means what we're used to. We're used to a whole lot of cross checks. We're used to a whole lot of compliance. But there's also a lot of fear, and I think we have to conquer that fear both for our staff and for our lawyers. And we have to ensure that our protected, privileged information of our clients is not improperly shared, with AI companies. That's a big challenge.
Yeah. So taking that in consideration, what would you say the general tone of the folks that were there was? Was it, more of an optimistic or was it more cautious? Like where would you say people fell?
Yeah, I think we're very, collections attorneys are very pragmatic people, so I would say we're probably cautiously optimistic, right? We, I think there's very broad agreement that AI is here and it's not going anywhere. But firms want to move very deliberately. They want to move very responsibly. They want to make sure that their clients have significant buy-in to the decisions that they're making and are approving. their use of AI. And that means you've got to come to them having thought through the whole process and have significant safeguards in place. Um, you have to have client buy-in essentially. And I think um, we recognize that, and we recognize that the clients are really only going to be satisfied if we can guarantee that AI is not misused.
Yeah, I think you're right. Now, beyond AI, we'll get back to it in a second. How valuable is the peer conversations at EE that, when it comes to topics like AI and other things?
I mean, I honestly think that you can't get these conversations anywhere else. There are other executive experiences out there, but they're not focused on this industry. And you have small practitioners, you have medium-sized practitioners, you have very large, large firm sizes, and all of them are dealing with the same pressures, right? With you can be very little sophisticated, yeah, very little sophistication in your practice. You can have a whole lot of sophistication in terms of your technology, in terms of your staffing, in terms of your client expectations. Um, but hearing everybody come together and talk about those challenges, you realize how similar they are, right? And what you hear a lot of is people who have been through that challenge talking about how they solved it. You can't get that anywhere else. You can't. It's hard to get that except through firm owners coming together and talking about um, their challenges and kind of saying, "Look, have you tried this? Bring this back into your practice." And it works. It works, and at a minimum, it provides you with a different perspective that you didn't think about.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I found personally surprising was that it wasn't necessarily, the size or even the sophistication of the law firm that kind of translated into the level of knowledge of the practitioner with AI. There were some, attorneys that you would think, they're not the youngest guys on the block. They maybe don't know about AI, and they were very proficient. I mean, so don't write anyone off yet because there is so much out there. Um, so for firms thinking about getting AI, whatever, AI is in everything. So I know when people say getting it or using it, you're already using it, even if you think you're not. But for firms that are going to be, proactive and deliberate, what advice would you give where this, to start? Where would you start?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say you start small, start with your level of comfort. I'd say be careful, right? Do your research, and I would say be intentional. Pick one use case, pick one area, set clear guidelines. Think about developing an AI policy in advance, right? Even just looking at one that's available online and saying, this is a good set of guidelines for what I need to be thinking about as I start to dip my toes in the space. Um, you also need to talk to your team about it, right? There's a lot of fear about it. I think most collection firms are saying, how can we do more with the team we have? And you need to be very clear with your team about it, set clear expectations and set clear alignments. I started my test case on just analysis, anonymized database. Go look at my payment plans and see if you can come up with some trends and some analysis on it. And it blew my mind, right? It confirmed a lot of things I thought I knew, and a couple of things I was really surprised. And it had the data to back it up. But start with your level of comfort. Start small, and then you will find that once you get experience with it, you can grow it.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to approach this because it is so complicated. So looking ahead, and again, we're getting close to the end of our cup of coffee, so to speak, and just want to get, what do you think is on the horizon? What's next for AI and the creditors' rights law firm? What is this conversation going to look like, in a year from now?
Yeah, I mean, I think my crystal ball says that AI is here to stay. It's going to become a part of everyday operations. I think the most successful users of AI are going to fully integrate it and not view it as a separate initiative. Um, Once you start thinking about AI, you really start to realize how it can help in a broader way, a broad array of subjects, and it's just a matter of teeing them up and knocking them out. I mean, the truth is, our industry faces a level of scrutiny and regulation and consequences for errors that completely outstrips any other practice of law. So the rewards of good and careful AI implementation are extremely high, but the dangers are there as well, right? And so you can increase your operational efficiency. What's really exciting is you can increase your compliance and your compliance oversight through use of AI, um, without a radically increased operational or compliance budget. So I think the firms that succeed will be integrating it into as many places as they can, as carefully as they can, while keeping an intense focus on ethics, on transparency, on client value, and client engagement on the process.
So you'll still need to be a lawyer and you'll still need to review things and you still will be the final say in your firm on liability. But this is not something that's just a fad. This is here to stay. And with that, we're going to wrap up our coffee break. Craig, great insights, great feedback from EE and the coffee break, episode. We could have gone on for a long time, for hours. And so hopefully you'll come back. And I'm not going to wait a year to have you back to find out where things are. But again, thanks for sharing your experience and your takeaways from EE. And thanks to everyone for listening to Coffee Break. I'm Nathan Willner, and stay engaged and most importantly, stay caffeinated. We'll see you all next time. Thanks again.
Hey,